Hey everyone, thanks for joining in on the Digital Young Life podcast. Excited today to let you meet Bree Flores, who is a volunteer leader in the Palm Desert area in California. She talks a ton about her kind of social media journey and what she has done with digital contact work. A lot of actionable things, a lot of things to try that she has done. So, uh, can't wait to hear what you have to say. And thanks, Bree, for taking time to be able to do this. Hope you guys enjoy. Made you say yes to Young Life in the first place? Like, how did you get to the kind of the place that you're at in sort of your role with Young Life
So
in Palm Desert?
yeah, I was I was first started as a Young Life kid, and I would say like I would categorize myself as like being a bad kid. Was always in trouble, dealt with expulsions, suspensions, and just kind of like I would say struggled with relationships through high school. And I actually was invited to Young Life by a friend that I played a sport with. And my grandma encouraged me to go because she actually was a Young Life leader. She did summer camp at Young Life Malibu. She used to like water ski out and welcome the campers. I'm always jealous when she talks about that experience. And so, I mean, Young Life totally changed my life in high school. I felt like it gave me really solid friendships and relationships. It showed me what healthy relationships could look like. And I went to camp, I did summer staff, I did work crew. And then after college, I just kind of was feeling like I wanted to do more. I always wanted to mentor and give back in the same way that that was done with me when I was a high school student. And I just started to hang out with my Young Life leader more, spend more time with her, and I just felt a longing to like do what she did. And so that's how I ultimately decided to like become a Young Life leader. My husband's also a Young Life leader. And we actually met at Young Life Camp when we were 15, 16. So Young Life is just like a part of our life, and it makes total sense that we're here doing this now. And I mean, I couldn't imagine doing anything else with our
Hmm.
time.
Ah, it's so awesome. And so, just to be clear, you're a volunteer. You and your
Yeah.
husband volunteer Young Life. What do you do outside of this?
I actually work in education sales for Lego Education. So I work with schools and districts, and my husband's a teacher. So he gets to see kids all day, every day, and I'm jealous. Sometimes I crash lunches, but yes, we're both volunteer leaders.
It's so awesome. So, with this digital contact work stuff, like what got you interested or like kind of invested in some of it? Were you already moving into the space a little bit? Maybe kind of tell that story.
Yeah, I don't know how my leader just my old leader, our area director, how she just picked me out and was like, can you run the page? I had a camera. I think that made me a little bit more like of a prime candidate to run the Young Life Instagram page just because I had the means to do so. And I was just really excited to contribute outside of how I was already contributing as a volunteer leader. I felt like the Young Life Instagram page just needed a lot of work in the way of like, let's build engagement, let's try and build community on that page. And it's totally just, I would say, morphed over the last year with what I was expecting when I signed up to do that versus what I'm doing with it now. And I'm having a lot more fun doing it than I think I realized, like I initially thought that I would.
What do you mean it looks different than it did?
Well, I think at first I didn't know how to engage kids. I didn't know how to build that engagement. A year ago, our club attendees and campaigners attendees were just a lot lower than what we've seen now. I would say on average, we've got like 40 or 50 kids a club. Before we were seeing like 20, maybe 30. So we've been able to grow that. And I wasn't sure how I would, like, how the social media would impact club attendance and kids talking about Young Life at school, but there's been a lot of stories told to me by teachers on campus and also students about events that we've had. When kids see it on Instagram, they're talking about it at school after. And so I think it's built a lot of buzz and excitement over what happens at Young Life on Monday nights.
Cool. Do you have one specific example of that, of like a, something that happened, and it happened in real life, and then you posting about it, and how that kind of became something bigger than maybe just the event?
Yeah, totally. So we did a Hot Ones club. Are you familiar with Hot
Yep.
Ones at
Oh
all?
yeah.
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 So we decided to do a Hot Ones themed club, and it was brutal, just with how spicy everything was. And I mean, like, leaders were eating. We also had students on the panel, so they were also doing the Hot Ones challenge. It was mainly about the students on the panel, and a lot of kids saw it on the page and were talking about it after. There was just a ton of buzz around that club specifically about kids who had never been, didn't really know anything about it, but were just asking, like, what happened, like hearing about the leaders that, I mean, we were all crying after we had eaten. Like, the hot sauce is really spicy, but it was awesome for kids to like see us in that state, and then um, be able to like have a story and talk about it afterwards.
That's awesome. Yeah, kind of that, like, uh, I don't know, that camaraderie when bad
Mhm.
things happen, like
Exactly.
something sticks in your mind. That's funny.
And like
Um,
figuring out how to bring pop culture, right? Like things that we see in pop culture a lot into what's happening at club. Like, how can we integrate that? And I felt like that was a really awesome example of how you could make something that's like current and cool that people talk about into something happening at a club that kids get to be a
yeah,
part of.
yeah, yeah. Why do you think that works, and what are some things maybe that you have specifically seen work? But like, generally speaking, why do you think something like that works on a platform like Instagram?
I think it's really easy to market and like showcase to kids what you're going to be doing when they hear something that, as kids call it, like they're chronically online. And so um, they see different like interviews or just different trends. And if there's ways that we can incorporate that into club, I think it makes it more exciting for them because they get to experience that. Whereas, like if we didn't have a Hot Ones club, kids probably wouldn't have been able to experience like the Hot Ones hot sauce. I think everyone has wondered how hot that hot sauce is, and it's very hot. But just giving kids that experience, I think, really has helped build that excitement. And also just having themes, but not overly corny themes either. Like having a pizza club where we all order pizza from different locations, and the first one to arrive wins. And we enter the pizza delivery guy into the room, and we're all cheering for them. And the pizza delivery guy's all weirded out because he's like, "What did I just walk into?" And so um, I think those make it really fun. Those types of experiences.
Yeah, I think it's great because I just imagine, like, especially Hot Ones. I mean, you look at the other side of like the phone or screen that you're watching, and it's just like a kid just, watching something, and versus that kid actually experiencing that thing that they're seeing. So instead of just wanting attention, it's like we want you to come and be a part of something real.
Mhm.
And yeah, or yeah, the Pizza Olympics thing is a great example too. I think that's awesome, and what you guys did there was so great. So, yeah, because you never know. I've done that before. And the pizza guy's like, I'm not coming in.
Yeah,
Like, just
there was one who refused. He's like, I'm not walking in there.
and
But
a
I think
couple
it's
of them were like,
a
a
way to,
speech, and they're like, no, we're not gonna do a
exactly,
speech. Yeah.
exactly. I think it's just a way to just like make it more fun. That's what Young Life's about, right? Like taking kids out of their element to experience like fun and adventure um, away from like that digital connection that they already have.
Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right. Um, that stuff sounds great. What's a challenge that you have, or what has been a challenge that you've had with sort of moving into this space, especially as a volunteer?
Yeah, I would say coming from the volunteer perspective, it's definitely been consistency when life on my end is really crazy with work and I don't have quite the same uh, like time commitment that maybe I did during certain pockets to commit to the page. And I definitely think the page suffers because of that, right? Like maybe there's just not as much excitement built or buzz happening, talk at school, those types of things. But it's also really easy to bounce back from that as well. I would say there was a period of like 2 or 3 months where posting every 2 days was really challenging for me. And I've really found that like that every 2 day
Hmm.
post is that sweet spot to keep kids engaged where they're willing to participate in polls, they're willing to answer like the questions that we put on the story. And so I would say definitely consistency has been the challenge, but I've made really good friends with the schedule post feature, just to make sure that things are timed and maybe I don't have to think about it every day. Maybe I think about it once a week and just get things scheduled for that week. So that way things get posted and we keep that engagement up.
Hmm. That's awesome. And so then, I mean, you just told me a little bit, but I'd like to dig in a little bit more. So you followed 200 kids in like a couple day period of time, and we had kind of talked about, we as in just lots of like the training and all that kind of stuff, have kind of talked through that. Have you seen, like, what have you seen from that? Like even like again within yourself, or you know outwardly with kids. Like have you seen something super fun, disappointing? Like what happened with all that?
So following 200 kids, yeah, I was really intimidated by the thought of it at first. I didn't know what the response would be. There's a lot of unknowns in that. It's also in this day and age, like trying to figure out what profiles are kid profiles, because a lot of the times in our area, they either have like a black photo or they have no photo. They also have spam accounts. That is like a big thing. And so trying to like sort through those to figure out what the right profile would be to follow felt like a struggle at first, but I just went for it. I followed friends of friends, and like the return that we got was really awesome. I probably followed about 250 kids. Instagram only lets you follow about 150 kids or profiles a day before they mark that you're possibly spam. So I got cut off each time I tried to do it. Um, and then the return that we got was having about 200 kids follow us back, which was super exciting. There's been talk at school from a handful of kids, asking teachers that are also Young Life leaders what Young Life is about, because the page followed them. And so they were curious, is that something that they should be a part of? Should they go and check it out? So that response has been really cool, to just hear the stories of. And then we've also had kids reach out to the page that I followed asking, what is this? What do you guys do on Monday nights? Do I have to pay to be a part of it? Those types of things. And so I would say it's been really encouraging, and it's made me really excited to just continue the journey of following kids and hopefully turning those followers into kids that are actually showing up to club and kids that are actually engaging with our social media page, and engaging with Young Life outside of the digital context as well.
Yeah. Why? Not why. Who did you have following before? Like, what was the reason those 200 kids weren't already connected in some way? Because it's not like how big are your schools? I guess I got lots of little questions there, but what? Maybe start with that. Why do you feel like they weren't already following, and who was following, and were those the right kids and all that?
Well, when I took over the page, and I went through the Young Life Digital training with you and a couple of other areas, I learned that we shouldn't be really following adults on that page. That's geared towards students. It should be totally student focused. And so, first, I had to go through and kind of like purge the page of adults that we were following, that we weren't really sure like how they were even really connected back to Young Life. And then also we followed every kid that followed us, but we weren't proactive in that way where we were going out of our way to like seek out kids on social media. And there's probably about, I would say, like 1,800 to 2,000 students between both Palm Desert High School and Xavier College Prep. And so I think I'm at about 700 kids that I'm following. So really just like a drop in the bucket for like the total, student population at both schools. And I think we still have like a lot of room that we can grow in terms of seeking more and more kids out. But I wasn't expecting the response to be so large to following us back once we were seeking out those kids.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens in the next couple months with that. Like if there's any stories of kids that end up coming and, you guys end up meeting because of that, or you go to an event and some kid knows who you are before you even know who they are. And,
Exactly. And part of me is scared a little bit about even just the timing to which we followed these kids. It's April. We only have like 6 events left in the year. And so can we keep that engagement going over the summer and that excitement happening so that way they feel like they want to be a part of it in the fall in case it takes them a little bit longer to get there. So there's a little bit of fear around like the timing of following these kids as well, which we'll see what God does with that.
Yeah. I think I would encourage you that it's better that it happened now than not at all. And you have no idea, what it could be or what it could mean. Do you think that will change the way or anything that you post? Like, will you post anything any differently because you've got a ton of kids that you just followed that really have no idea what Young Life is or are just learning what Young Life is right now?
Yes, especially in the context of like living in Southern California. I think there's already like a sensitivity around like mentioning Jesus and God and those types of things on the Instagram. And so I think it's like finding the balance between how much do we talk about it and also how much do we leave it more open so that way kids from different walks of life can come and feel like that is also a safe space for them too, if they maybe have a different religious background and things like that. And so that's something that I'm definitely still learning how to navigate. And I would say just like asking, for prayer so we can figure out how we can balance like shouting loudly from the rooftops what Young Life is while also making it feel like a safe space for other kids.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And that's always been true, of what we've done too. And so I think it's not so much, I think, threading a needle, and it feels like that sometimes that we're just going to screw something up. And it is more of just kind of a prayerful act to go, when is the right time and what, who's our audience and what are we trying to do with this specific thing? And because sometimes we will, want to give a good word or a reminder to kids who have been involved for a long time. And this is a great way to do it. And sometimes we want to make sure that those kids that are just in, like those 200 kids that don't know you guys at all, and are just kind of walking in and are maybe treating you more like a brand that they don't wear or something, or something like that. They go like, I'm not sure, like what is this? And you're trying to like shift that and change that. So
totally.
I think it'll be great.
And I would say like the posting has changed in a way too, where I've gotten more, or I've gotten farther away from posting just like flyers, like graphically designed flyers, to having, like Young Life Monday night, 6:57 p.m. at so-and-so's house, and having it be a carousel of like a photo of kids, a photo of kids, a photo of kids. And the reason why is because I also want the kids in those photos to share those photos of themselves. And I found that when kids are seen, when they see themselves on the Instagram page, they're more willing to reshare that with their followers and their friends. So that is kind of how I've evolved. Like I started originally doing really, like, I would say more aesthetic, like Canva flyers, not really with photos of kids on it, but just like it gave, cool vibes. Whereas now I've morphed more into showing those kids and having a more simple, like, text with Young Life, the details of where Young Life is. So that way kids are willing to reshare that.
It's awesome. Just crazy to me that you're a volunteer. Like it's awesome. That's so awesome.
Well, my old Young Life leader was the area director, so
yeah,
I have to make her proud.
No, but it is. I think a lot of us wish that we would have someone like you, but I also probably think that a lot of us do have someone like you, or maybe just not handing the reins over or giving opportunity. Could you maybe speak to that a little bit? Like, what would you say to an area director who's maybe hesitant to hand this kind of social media responsibility over to a volunteer?
I would say, like, you have to capitalize on people's excitement to do a specific job. And a lot of the times, like, that excitement, I think, is what carries that person forward to being able to do work at a larger scale. And at least in my area, I don't think anyone really on staff like had that same desire and excitement within my club specifically. We've got a lot of other clubs within our area who like felt the desire to do social media. Whereas that was something that I was definitely more open to. And I would say like just trust and use the area director still has access to the page. Like there can be a world where both exist at the same time on the page, posting to the page and sharing like the same vision, but just having more trust in the people around you to be able to contribute and add more to the area than what they're able to do with their time.
It's awesome. I think you're exactly right. What would you say then to a volunteer that maybe is given the reins, and like what would some of their maybe first steps into this be? Like what's some advice you could give them?
Okay, first step, get in touch with Adam. You go through the training.
Nice. Yeah, real good.
Go through the training.
Why though? Like what did that? And that's not a sell. Like, but like genuinely, like why was that a helpful thing for you, and why would it be for a volunteer?
I would say like there was a lot of things I felt like I knew, and a lot of things that I would say like stayed true to what I knew about what running a Young Life social media page would be like. But then also going through that training just helped connect back to like the mission and the purpose of what those Instagram pages are supposed to be like for kids to experience. And so that's why I would recommend like going through that training. I also think like having a strategy conversation like with the area director or people on staff in the area, like what do we want out of this page and what are the things that we can do to get there. I think some easy things feel like, okay, let's showcase our leaders, for example, but our kids, like the kids that know us care about us and they want to see those posts about us, but those kids that don't know us don't really care about us. They care more about seeing their friends and seeing the relationships happen. And there's almost a level of like fear of missing out with those kids. And so I would say like that's what the training really helped me realize is this page is for kids. Like this page isn't for really anyone else. It's not for, I mean, it could be for donors, it could be for parents, but the purpose is to reach more kids and get them engaged and get them to club. And how do we connect back what we're doing on the Instagram page to what the mission is of Young Life? And there were a couple of key things that I've learned just from following your page, but then also in the training that we did. And that was doing a What is Young Life social media post. So that way, when kids come to the page, they can see like, okay, why is this something that I might want to be involved with? And we've had other areas, other clubs in our area follow suit in that. So it's been cool to just see like the ripple effects of some of the foundations that you've laid with like best practices and how that translates into, club and the Instagram experience for kids and whatnot.
Awesome. I think finally, what would be, if you only had one thing that you could say to, I mean, anybody that's listening or watching or whatever, however this will go out into the world, but mostly Young Life people, like what's the one thing that you might say in this space that you feel like is of utmost importance, or that you've seen kind of be maybe the thing that has moved some needle in some way?
I have a couple of things. So I know you might want me to focus on
Okay.
one, but I'm going to talk about a
No, you can
couple.
focus on a couple of things.
I would say like giving kids a really easy way to get in touch with a leader, and that's been through a Google form. We've had 18 kids fill it out, which doesn't feel like a lot, but then I also have to remind myself that that is a ton of kids who've gone to the page and have been like, this is something I want to be involved in. Here's my information. So I would say like ease of access for kids. And then also, like taking photos of kids, like, and not being afraid to reuse those photos either, because I think it's important that kids see themselves, and there's ways to make photos look a little bit different in each post. And like the more that kids are seeing themselves, and I think the more that their friends are seeing their friends on that page, it really just entices them to want to be a part of it. It creates a sense of community. And so that those are really the two things.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bree. It's been great to have you. It's been fun to watch everything that you've been doing and a part of, and it's exciting just to see what God's done in ministry there through all you guys. It's at PDX Young Life, correct?
At PDX Young Life.
Yep. And what's the adult focused one?
The adult focused one is YL Desert Cities.
Perfect. So if people want to go take a peek at those, I definitely would say take a look at the PDX Young Life one. I've reposted it stuff a lot, so people probably have already seen a bunch. But yeah, it's great. It's really, really good for some awesome ideas. So thanks for taking time today.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.